stop doing that because it's a little bit scary. Today's video is sponsored by Kizane 45. So anything that happens today is because of Kizane 45. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you guys want to support our channel as well, you can click the join membership button down below. All right, let's get started with today's video. So today we're going to jump right back into it, and we're going to continue shaping up this front bow frame piece here. And like I said last video, we're going to make a little section that fits into the back here as well for that extra rigidity. So let's get to fitting this and carry on with the video. So I got it positioned here, and I'm just gonna line up the top edge, make sure it's all nice and even. And then I can mark out what needs to be cut off of this piece here. Now for the moment of truth, we have everything cut out here. We have that bevel on the top for this, and I believe, just like that, that should fit in there quite nicely. This piece is a little bit thinner than this one, so I might run this through the planer just to make it all the same size, or I could just leave it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter too much. Yeah, that's all the rigidity we can get out of this section. And keep in mind, the only fasteners I have right now are here and on the other side, and this is already quite strong. We're going to put that pyramid block into the back here. And then of course we have to shape these to the contour of the boat. Also, I'm just going to make these relief cuts here so that water can get by. So find a spot that looks about right, and then I'll cut along there. So now I'm going to want to get the edges here lined up so that the bottom is nice and smooth going on there, and it lines up with the frames. Now they're a little bit different on each side. So this side you can see is really nice. In fact, it's just a little bit high here, and down at the bottom it seems to be lined up quite nicely. So this side is just a matter of getting this surface lined up and smooth. So I'll have to cut this one down. And then over on this side, this one will probably take a little bit more work. You can see how much higher I am until it contacts. And then down below, it is quite a lot. That's contacting there, so that's quite a lot of gap. So this one will have to be shaped on both pieces, but maybe I'll start with this one over here, just get a general idea of what a nice finished edge would look like, and then we can come over here and try doing this one. There we go. Now we have a surface that we can adhere the bottom to, put that 5200 in, and it should stick quite nice. If you're wondering what these are, they're for adhesion. Yeah, let's go with that. You look at this here, still just a little bit high, which is perfect. And everything lines up really nice. I'll get it zoned in once they're painted and permanently installed, but I don't want to take everything off and then refit it and have it be off by a little bit. So we're going to leave it like that. I got the edges broken, and that's really awesome. So you can see the angle that bottom has to take. It goes flat and twists up like quite a lot. So I'm going to get the other side done here. I'll spare you guys with the montage that we just did on this side. And then we can move on to the next part of the project here. And there we go. We have those lined up with this edge and this edge on both sides. So that should be pretty good. We are gonna leave just a little bit extra when we actually go to install it so we can get it shaped really nicely. I did ship this off by mistake, so I'll have to just epoxy that in place, but yeah, just a little corner piece there. Now this may be a little bit off topic, but I actually have some really exciting news about this boat. Now, if you've been watching the series since day one, you'll know that we pulled a 6-cylinder gray marine engine out of this boat. Now, as cool as this engine is, being a flathead and all, and it is I believe the stock motor that came with this boat, it's not really a lot of power. Keep in mind, we do want to do some wakeboarding, and we do want to hot rod this a little bit. And I'm not sure the exact specs on horsepower for this one, but it's not a whole bunch. If you know, let me know down below. Now, the other thing too about the Gray Marine engine is that if we were to start hot rodding that engine and making it fun and painting it and doing it up, there is an issue with that. Those Gray Marine engines are actually worth quite a lot of money. They're really valuable to collectors as well. Depending on the condition of the Gray Marine straight six, we've seen them go for anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. Quite a big chunk of change for what is, you know, just a small little straight six that'll go in this thing. But you know, people want to use stuff that's stock and original, which I understand, but that's not our goal with RatSync. So, the exciting news. This is a U22, and it recently came into our shop. The previous owner wanted to get a different type of boat, so we acquired this one. Now, it has a different engine inside of it, and we may have recently just got rid of this boat to somebody else. We're actually going to harvest the engine out of this one, because I believe the customer that's purchasing this wants to put something else in anyways. So we're going to harvest the motor that's inside of here and put that in RatSync instead. And you guys might be surprised at what's underneath this box. And I'll just say, it's a very heavy box. So this is the Ford Interceptor. This is a Y-block engine. That's a lot of power, and we're gonna stuff that into that tiny little boat over there and see what happens. We want something fun, and we want to be able to have a really nice, awesome, cool engine in there. It sounds nice, it's nice and loud, gets some attention. So we're gonna actually go and we're gonna put this motor into RatSync. Now, that being said, we are gonna have to make a couple of bit more reinforcements so that we don't rip the entire boat apart into little pieces when we pump a bunch of power through this thing. I might make rubber mounts for it too, so that any vibration or twisting doesn't actually twist and damage the frame runners running along there. But that's a lot of horsepower, and they're really cool motors too. I believe a lot of hot rodders have worked and built on these in the past. It's a pretty well-known engine, the Ford Y-block, but yeah, so really fun, really awesome. And on top of it, we actually have even more interesting, fun little things for this engine. So you'll notice that it has these carbs that are on the top here, and they're actually laying flat on this motor. You can see the dual intake carbs, and then it runs up into this area and down into the intake. Really unusual design, kind of difficult to work on if you want to, you know, take the carburetor out and clean it up. So the fun thing is that tucked away in a secret little corner of our shop here, we actually have another one of these Ford Interceptor Y-blocks that has a couple of different parts bolted onto it. Now, the problem with that other motor is the block is cracked. This block is not cracked, so we're going to harvest parts from that one and we're going to put it on here, and I'll show you guys what that motor looks like. And by the way, I'm keeping the patina on this engine. It's absolutely beautiful. It's just the right amount of patina where it looks nice but doesn't detract, and it's very similar to the color that we have inside on the dashboard. So I think this is pretty sweet. We're gonna keep as much of that as possible. I'll probably end up, you know, cleaning and buffing a couple of things to make them stand out, but yeah, that'll be a really cool engine when we get that installed. But yeah, let's take a look at the other one here. Just gotta get out of this boat. Ugh. So in a far, far away place, we have another Ford Interceptor engine. So here's the other one. This one has the cracked block. You can see it's got a nice big alternator on there. And the best part is it has a 4-barrel intake. So we can put a big old carburetor on the top of that engine, get a lot more horsepower out of it, and it should be a lot more fun like that. So yeah, hopefully they're the same size. I'm not sure if size will change whether or not the intakes fit. Hopefully they are able to be swapped Hopefully they're able to be swapped around, because I would love to have a 4-barrel on there, put on like a Holly or something on the top of it. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's the big exciting plans for Rat Sink. We have a motor upgrade coming. And as I said last video, you're gonna start to notice we're gonna be deviating away from the original OEM stuff pretty quick, pretty fast. Again, once the wood construction part of it is done, then the real fun starts. Then the hot rodding picks up, and we can start to enjoy our time with it and do some crazy stuff. But I'm really looking forward to this engine. It's gonna make a whole bunch of noise. And on top of it, again, I had also mentioned I wanted to do a dual exhaust on Rat Sink, and that doesn't really make a lot of sense if it's a straight 6. Nobody wants to hear a dual exhaust straight 6. If you got one, I'm sorry, I'm just saying. Makes way more sense to have dual exhaust for a big old V8. So we're gonna pull this inside, and we're gonna pull the engine out of this boat. So we have the gantry set up here. We have a couple of lifts up top. So we're gonna pull that engine out, and hopefully we can get it up in the air and just move the boat out of the way. We should be good to go. Andrew's working on some custom cabinets right now. He did the deck lines that you can see in a boat. This goes up on your wall. You got some nice handles there, and yeah, it's a cool way of doing those. They'll look nice when they're done. So there we go, we got the engine set up underneath the little pulley here. Currently using it for lighting, just to make it not so brown in the shot. But yeah, here's the engine, so we're gonna get this pulled out. It's got kind of interesting mounts too. You'll notice it braces up right against the frame on the side and on the top. And it does that for the rear as well. That's actually good news. If it fits in Rat Sink, that'll provide us with a lot more strength in the frame, because essentially we'd be bracing it through the motor mounts, which should make it a little less scary when we put it in that tiny little boat. So I got these very rusty bolts out of the flange here, and just split this open with the screwdriver. A little prop shaft slid down there, and then I just cut the rubber off of this. So this is all disconnected. Then we'll get this shift cable disconnected, get this out of the way, and see what we can do about the mounts while we're in the back area here. Now, in case you're wondering, this is done sometimes if you don't have the right length prop shaft. People will do stuff like this to make up for the space in between here. That's entirely possible. You can do that if you'd like. Let's say your prop shaft isn't long enough and you put the engine in and it comes up to this distance. That is something you can do. But what we've done in the past is we've actually designed in AutoCAD the actual piece that sits on this flange and this one, and we've made them as a spacer. I think we did a 1-inch one for a boat recently. I don't know about this distance, but for stuff like this, you can always talk to a machine shop and they can help you design something or help build something to create this space. But yeah, worst comes to worst, I mean, you can always use the double flange with another prop shaft stuffed in between it. It's less than ideal, but it does work. So that's it for the back of the engine. We got the exhaust disconnected, we got the flange taken off, the shifter has been disconnected, and the engine mounts are good to go. So we should be able to move up to the front and carry on with getting the rest of that disconnected. Like I said, it's really simple getting these out, and then we can hoist it up with that big winch up there and get this thing out of here. So we have the chains hooked up, should be good to go to lift it up here. The only thing we're gonna have to do is get rid of the wires. Now, I do have a trick to remove wires really quickly in a nice, efficient way so that we can get the motor up. Now you can use that fancy trick on BMWs, Mercedes. Just snip it, you know, and then put some solder and some shrink wrap around it and you're good to go. The truth of the matter is that harness, although it is shiny in some areas, has a lot of issues in it. And when the guy puts the new engine into it, it'll be a lot easier to just start fresh and trace which each one is, rather than have to rely on what is quite honestly a jumble. Now we got it hooked up, like I said, here to the old motor. I don't know if that's going to be enough, but we're going to take a look and see. So let's move it up a little bit at a time here. Whoa! Move the whole boat. So I was hoping that this would be enough to lift the engine, but it's not quite enough. See, it kind of maxes out there. And then just dies. So I'm going to actually stop doing that because it's a little bit scary. I'm going to hook up the larger chain pulleys and try to get this up a little bit nicer. So. That's good for now. So there we go. That was a little bit sketchy, a little scary. Heard some creaking, some groaning coming from the gantry. So this is quite a heavy engine. Actually a little bit terrifying standing even here right now. But you can see how large this engine is. Looks like someone has welded up the oil pan at some point in the past here. Done some sort of modification to it. But I mean, it's a big V8. They're going to be heavy. It's kind of part of the deal, but yeah, let's try to get this thing lowered down to where it's safe. And I think that makes a pretty good thumbnail actually too. That's probably gonna be the thumbnail for the video. So now that we have the engine kind of sitting here, you can get better access to it. And if you take a look, I actually figured out what size engine this Ford Y block is. So if you look at the engine stamping there, you can see it says E, that is a C, believe it or not, G, so that's ECG. Now the ECG would stand for a 272 cubic inch V8, and that would be 1957, 1955 to 1957, I should say. So it's a pretty old V8, and it is a 272. Now this motor, if it is the 1955, which I believe it looks like 1955, it would make about 162 horsepower at 4,400 RPM, and it makes about 250 pounds of torque at 2,400 RPM. So that's quite a lot of motor for that little boat. You got to realize this isn't the car world, so if you put 500 horsepower into something, it's going to be way too much. We're in a car that is like, I think 500 is like a really good performance vehicle. I think these BMWs have like 300. If you were to put 300 horsepower into one of these boats, it's going to be very scary. So this is actually pretty scary for the boat that we're putting it into. Hopefully it can take the weight of this motor. It's quite a lot of weight, but that will be a bit of an experiment, and we'll see if it can handle all that. But that's going to do it for today's video. I really appreciate you guys watching the channel and supporting us, and yeah, commenting and all that. If you guys want to see anything in the future, got anything to say about today's video, please drop us a comment. We try to respond to all the comments we get on our channel. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being supportive and helping us achieve some viewers on YouTube here. It really helps out keeping the boat world alive here. So thanks again, guys. Till next time, see ya.